8 p.m. live here. I'm broadcasting from the city of Lagos, Nigeria, where dreams come to life. So I'm so happy to have you here again. I remain your host, Lawrence Nkwocha. This is Formula for Everyday podcast, where we have the philosophy that um, we may hope to do better things tomorrow, but the best things are done today because today is a very huge opportunity for you to make the biggest difference in your life. So, once more, it's so great to have you here, and I'm so excited. I'm happy that we are right here on this live. So, today I'm going to be discussing a topic with you, something I find really, really interesting. And that topic is living by design. Now, a lot of us we live by default. We live by, taking the things that have been handed onto us without necessarily thinking about how we can actually live by design. Now, this is something I've been thinking about deeply about how we as people can begin to live by design. And the closest story that I can remember about living by design is when I was born in the city of Jos. I was born and bred basically in the city of Jos. You know, all my education until I was an adult was all in the city of Jos. But then I moved to the city of Lagos where I moved to the city of Lagos where I started, um, trying my best to I moved to the city of Lagos where I started trying my best to, catch up and, make ends meet. So one of the things I learned before my transition to Lagos is Lagos has always been on my mind, and that's due to the fact that Jos has always been a city I considered not very. Admin, please, can I have the device? Thank you. So Jos has been a city that I've always considered not to be the the best place to go. Whenever you're considering your ascension in the game of life, you need to always consider how you can be able to grow, the best environment for you to grow. So just from my studies, I realized that Jos is not the best place, even though Jos has been able to breed a lot of amazing talents. Talking about the likes of M.I. Abaga, you know, Two-Face Idibia, so many comedians, so many great artists, and um, people, so many creatives basically in media and entertainment have come out from the city of Jos. But my dream by design has always been to move to the city of Lagos because Lagos is not the best place in the world. But when you talk about the industry, especially in media and entertainment in Africa, one of the best places that you can find um, a way to trade your skill is in the city of Lagos. 1 minute, let me just make this life more interesting by just so one of the amazing so one of the interesting places to move to is the city of Lagos. And Lagos is a very good place where you can find where to trade your skill because one of the first people that I haven't learned this concept of design from is from John Obidi at night school. He spoke about Lagos. At then I was in the city of Kaduna, but I started seeing Lagos differently because most of the people I've been seeing, especially around Africa and here, in Nigeria, have all I trace them to have skilled their craft in Lagos. So whenever you're considering scaling, you need to be intentional about design. Yes, you can hope that the big things will come and meet you in your city, in Port Harcourt, in Enugu, in Jos, in Kaduna, in Kogi, or wherever you are in Nigeria, or even outside Nigeria. But you need to be intentional to study exactly where the big people in your industry, that's the big leagues, those that are playing at the highest level in your industry, right in your country, the city they play in. And when you're able to understand the exact city where these people play, it's going to give you it's going to give you it's going to give you understanding of exactly where to go to, how to move. Okay. So I moved to the city of Lagos because it has always been in my mind that I was going to design my ascension, my career growth differently. And I saw that Jos was not the best place. I also, lived in the city of Gusau, Zamfara State. When I was 7, that was also not the best place. Even though I was able to do great work, I made my first film. Um, Zamfara Heights. I got the opportunity to make my first film in Zamfara State, and at the time, I felt like a very big shot because it was a big deal. I was able to sell tickets. It was a very very huge win for me at the time, but I quickly realized that that was not the game I wanted to play. Then, when I finally got the opportunity to do my masters in Kaduna, I also observed the city. That was still not my game, but having visited Lagos a couple of times, I was able to see more of the possibilities of scaling my dream. So the reason why I'm giving this story an instance now is for you to understand that you have to be very intentional. A life that is lived by design is a life that is lived intentionally. So I took the move and I came to Lagos, and I mean, I've been able to work with some of the highest and the best filmmakers in the country. I've been able to participate. I've been able to do a couple of works that have transcended even the continent of Africa. Just last year, one of my films, Angel in the Stone. You can check it out on YouTube on Ebony Creative Life Academy channel. One of my films went to the US, where it was a festival, Sony Filmmakers Festival, and I was so happy about it because I was part of that project. So that's exactly what it means to live by design, because the highest level of players are playing. That's the highest level of players in both Africa and even in Nigeria play here in Lagos. But that's not even the end for me, because I want to actually hit the top of my career, and that means I would need to understand exactly how the game is being played in bigger industries like Hollywood and bigger industries. So I'm still a work in progress towards that. So I don't know where you are right now. It could be a place where you want to grow from what you're doing, or where you are. So you need to be intentional about designing, especially where you would live. Where you live is very important. There are a couple of factors to consider when you're considering lifestyle design, and some of the factors include what you do. So what you do, what exactly is the thing you do? What exactly do you do? Like, what's your vocation? Your vocation is what will give you the opportunities. There are certain things you will do and you will never get the opportunity to go global, because it's very possible that those things are not considered as top rated skills on the global scale. So you need to be very particular and very intentional about choosing. Don't just take whatever is handed to you by life. Yes, I would always advise people to start from where they are and with what they have, but don't end as just starting with where you are and what you have. You also need to be intentional about you know passing growing past what you have to getting exactly what you want. It's just like mathematics. You use what you have to get exactly what you want. So yeah, you have to know what you want to do, then you have to know where you want to live. Like I give you an example of living in Lagos, Nigeria, which has greatly affected my ascension in my career. Then another thing you need to consider is who you spend your time with. I mean, this could be your love interest, this could be your teammates. So even while living in Lagos, what I realized is that some people will never hit certain levels of excellence because of what they play. Let me give you an instance. Even in the film industry, there are people that strictly play the lowest games. I mean, the in when you consider filming, there are films that we call Asaba films that are not generally of very high quality. They don't follow the standard operating procedure of making a film. Why there are YouTube filmmakers, those have in recent times. I mean, I'll applaud the industry because those that put their films on YouTube have still having this certain growth in excellence. Then we have those that strictly do streaming services and cinema. Those guys are the guys I'll call the top G's in the league. So they play the highest game, they play the best games, and it's important that you identify exactly the type of game you want to play and play it consistently. You need to stay around people that will totally influence how you grow in your career. And if you will live intentionally, then you may as well play for the best. If you play for the best, I mean, you begin to increase your chances of actually becoming the best in your industry. So um it's really important that you consider these three questions: what you do, which is your vocation, where you live, and who you play with. So what you do, it's always advised you look around you. There are things that will never give you that global recognition. It will never give you that global opportunities. So look at those things that will give you the best opportunities globally, and those are exactly the things you should be investing your time and gaining a form of expertise in. So the next thing is you need to understand the concept of GPS. I think I heard this. I can't really remember his name, but he spoke about having a personal GPS. Now, this is not about having Google Map. It's about having a GPS, and the GPS is broken down into it's like an acronym. G stands for goals, P stands for plans, and S stands for strategy. So your G is the goals. If you continue playing, just imagine the game of football. Like the World Cup just ended now, and imagine if players are just running around the field without any goal post. Then there is no goal, there is no point of the match, because even if you are winning, you don't know that you are winning. So it's very important for you to have a goal post, so that you have a parameter to measure your success by. And for you to be able to achieve your goals, you need to be able to make plans. Yes, you have goals that you want to hit. You need to, have plans of the habits that you're going to continue putting in, how you're going to continue showing up consistently, because consistency accumulates, it compounds. So have plans on how you're going to keep showing up and have a strategy. Now, the good thing about strategies is that strategies can change. You could keep doing something, and because of the way, with the speed of how things are changing now, we have AI, we have a lot of things, a lot of innovations that have come, in the past 5 years. So it's very important for you to consistently change your strategy. So always remember this acronym to have a GPS, because your GPS is what is going to lead you from where you are right now to exactly where you want to be. It's what is going to direct your life for you to, proceed without any fear. Because think about it, what exactly is the point of actually knowing exactly where you want to go without knowing how to get there? You need to consistently sit with your goals. One of the things I do, and I learned this from Grant Cardone. He's an American entrepreneur. He says he writes his goals every single day, morning and night. Well, I'm not exactly like him. What I do is I write my goals at least once in a day, to consistently reset my mind, to tell me that, okay, Lawrence, this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing, at this time. And I'm not talking about goals that I can achieve in the next 5 years. I'm talking of the best things that I've set for myself up ahead, in the future. Like if when I begin to make my big films, win Oscars, and things like that. It's very important it tends to stimulate mind, and it's almost like bringing the future into the present. Famous and very profound writers like the writer of No Excuses, Brian Tracy, he says something about writing being a teleological activity. It tends to bring your mind from where you are to where you want to go to. Okay, it's a teleological activity that helps things connect together. So thank you very much for the one person that has joined me on this broadcast today. Please kindly engage if you have any question to ask. I would really really appreciate your engagement. So as you continue to ascend in your journey, you need to consider your GPS. It's your personal roadmap on how to grow. It's your personal roadmap on how to proceed in your journey. If you don't have a GPS that is pointing to you to where you want to go to, you would consistently stop. You will not be able to maintain consistency in your journey. You will not be able to grow. And even if you are winning, you will not be able to have the right metrics to measure by. You will continue to go with the likes, the upload on the internet, even though you are probably doing something that is trendy and that is not entirely tied to what the exact things that you consider to be valuable. It's not entirely tied to your purpose as a person. It's not entirely tied to even your fulfillment as a person. So it's important for you to know that even while you use the GPS, you are not entirely in control of your outcome. Yes, it's quite weird to say, but you're not in control of your outcome. What you are in control of is your input. So anything that can happen should happen, and just ensure that you show up every single day. I mean, showing up most times, people, especially in 2026, people think showing up is just coming online, making content. Yeah, that's a very huge part of it. But showing up is more of a private thing. I mean, for me, reading is non-negotiable every single day, and nobody's actually seeing if I'm actually showing up or not. But I know in my heart of heart, I know if I am showing up or not. So showing up is first of all a private victory before it becomes a public victory, and I'm really really satisfied. I mean, I'm happy if it's just one person that gets to um, get a new fresh idea or is reminded about what they're supposed to do in their today or in their daily life by coming out here live to talk about these profound ideas and how you can be able to live your life consistently. You remember, like we always say, that we may hope to do better things tomorrow, but really the best things are done today. The best things in your health, the best things in your personal development, the best things in your family, your spiritual life, your business, everything. The best things are done today. So you need to be in control of how you live each day, your lifestyle design. You may not be in control of the outcome, but you are in control of the input, how you show up, how you interact with people, how you build your relationships. All these things matter, and it's very important that you consistently consider them as you also try to grow. All right, so moving on. After you must have thought about your lifestyle design, something fascinating comes to play, and that is habit. Habit. Now, the good thing about lifestyle design is it first of all starts as a routine. The reason why you should start your lifestyle design as a routine, especially now, where what you do, where you live, and who you play with. I mean, who you are in the game with. Both, like I mentioned, it could either be work colleagues or a love interest. It should become a habit that you play consistently, because you could get into the habit of practicing. Let's say you want to learn how to edit videos, you can get into the habit of recording yourself every single day, and start getting to practice how to actually edit videos. Or perhaps you're recording a short skit or a short film every weekend. Funny enough, like the Odyssey is one of the biggest films making rounds in box office. In just about 48 hours, they were able to cover their entire budget, about I think $250 million or so. They were able to make they were able to start making profit in less than 48 hours of release of the film. And if you trace back to the excellence of Christopher Nolan, you find out that he was making films every weekend with his friends. I mean, before the studios recognized him as a gifted and talented director, he had already put in the work. He had to make making films a habit, a consistent habit. So he was devoted to the craft. He continued to make films, and until he got his breakthrough, he did not stop. So that's exactly some of the things you should think about. So whatever industry you want to play in, first of all, understand that discipline is important. And discipline becomes very sure when you have what you do as a routine. Make what you do a routine. How do you do that? Write out a list of activities that you must do every day to become the kind of person that you wish to be. Now, whenever I'm talking about routines, I love to talk from the point of first principle thinking. Now, we see somebody like Christopher Nolan. He has made a big film like The Odyssey. But if we come back to his origin story, he didn't even go to film school. I mean, I think he studied English in school, but he got so passionate about films that during the weekend he was making films with his friends. I mean, that was basically zero budget films. But see what he's doing today. He's doing some of the biggest and most amazing, thought provoking films in Hollywood. I mean, anybody can do it. Be you in any industry. I mean, any industry you choose to play in, it's very possible for you to be able to achieve that feat. But first of all, first principle thinking, you need to think about the smallest thing that will make up the greatest whole. So for the big Odyssey, it started with practice of making films every weekend. For you, it could be that you want to be a world renowned athlete or a world renowned banker. What exactly are you doing? Do you update yourself with the financial market? How many books have you read? How many YouTube videos have you watched? How much have you been able to educate yourself about the financial market, so that whenever you have the chance to speak about finances, people are impressed not just by your knowledge but by your understanding and how passionate you are about the financial market. So these are some of the things you need to consider. We don't just look at the results of how people get what they get. We also have to consider the process step by step. So discipline is very important, and it starts with the habits you build. How are you building your habits? How are you consistent with building your habits? So excellence starts feeling automatic when you built that discipline. The good thing about routines is that if you continue brushing your teeth at a particular time in the morning, any day you don't brush your teeth, it feels off. And that's because it has seeped into your subconscious mind, such that it has become a program that is self-sustaining. Okay. And if you consider yourself to be somebody that is going I mean, if you consider yourself to be somebody that is going to be big in your industry, somebody that is going to be profound at doing things, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you continue to do it every day and every day for months, for years, and even for a decade, because you really, like I said, you cannot control your outcome. What you can control is your input. I mean, and the more the better. The more input you continue to put in, the better. Especially if you are living in Nigeria, if you're living in Africa, the system in many ways is not very favorable for creatives. It's not very favorable for setting career path. So you need to be very intentional about your input, consistently putting the work. And how you do that is by developing routines. You need to develop a routine that is going to keep you disciplined. Be very religious about what you're doing. I mean, put in the best effort to ensure that you are doing your best every single day to be able to ascend in the path of your dreams. Okay. So, however, whenever I advise people on, or I recommend, whenever I recommend the act of, putting in routines, I always recommend that people um, um, always reset, because if you are consistent on routines without necessarily considering, when if you leave everything you do to the subconsciousness without necessarily, being conscious of your actions, you get into you begin to drift. You get into what I will call autopilot. I mean, so you are becoming thoughtless. You are not thinking actively, and we are created to explore the environment around us. You need to consistently think about the things around you and how you can make the most of the energy around you, the opportunities around you, because there's always energy and opportunity around us to take us from where we are to exactly where we want to be. So this is something you need to consistently reset, and I would recommend a daily reset. That's why, like I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I personally do is to write down my goals every single day, because I need to remind myself that, okay, I may not be where I want to be right now, but there's somewhere I'm going to, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because this is something that I'm consistently thinking about. I mean, I would even call it a good cognitive bias, because my mind continues to work even after I have written these things down. Says, okay, you want to have a very strong body by working out consistently, by eating healthily. When I'm about to eat unhealthy food, when I'm about to skip my workout, my brain is telling me, no, you can't do that. You've already promised yourself that this is what you're going to do. So this is not who you are. Okay. Whenever I miss my workout routine for a long time, I don't feel okay. I feel like I'm sick, because I've already committed to doing something. It becomes like a default program, which is a good thing. And this is something you need to reset every single day, because as you continue to reset it, you start finding out that, okay, it's a very great chance for you to grow, because you are already opened to opportunities on how you can consistently grow. Okay. Yeah, so a conscious daily reset is a very important thing for you to do as you work to ascend. So I would highly recommend that you live intentionally, because intentional living is very important, and it has a lot to do with integrity. It has a lot to do with integrity. In fact, the way I put it here, it says to live intentionally is simple. Say what you mean, do what you say. Repeat it until your life begins to reflect it, because the life you design intentionally will almost always outperform it will almost always outperform the life you live by chance. So live intentionally, my dear friends. I really, really do hope that if you've watched today's broadcast, it has been of great value to you. This is exactly the reason why I do Formula for Everyday podcast, because I have the desire for everybody, especially those that live, the young creatives that live in Africa, Nigeria particularly, to get up every day and know that there is a way to go about things. To know that, yes, we continue selling hope here in the third world. I mean, in Nigerian parlance, he says, every you go better, everything go better. But for things to get better, you have to do the work. You have to put in the work, because the world is a very, very, is a weird place. I mean, so we may hope that we'll do the better things tomorrow, but the best things are actually done today. The best things are done now. So until I come your way again, I usually do this broadcast around the hours of 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. So until I come your way again tomorrow, I remain your humble host. My name is Lawrence Nkwocha, and bye for now.